Welcome to our channel, where every story touches the heart and stirs the soul. Before we dive into today's incredible tale, take a moment to tell us where you're watching from. We love seeing how far our stories travel across the world. Drop your city or country in the comments below. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss tomorrow's special episode. It's one you'll definitely want to be here for. Now, get comfortable, open your heart, and let's begin today's unforgettable journey. Daddy, I have a sister. 5 words that destroyed everything he believed. Michael Johnson stood in the doorway of their new apartment, watching his 6-year-old son, Liam, dart between unpacked boxes like it was a playground. The golden afternoon sun streamed through the windows, casting soft shadows across the walls. Walls that would soon carry their laughter, their memories, and perhaps echoes from a past Michael thought was long buried. Dad, look how big my room is, Liam shouted, spinning in a circle, arms stretched wide. In one hand, he held a slightly wrinkled photo of a woman smiling at the beach. Can I put Mommy's picture next to my bed? He asked, his voice softening. Michael swallowed the lump in his throat and nodded. Of course, buddy. That's a perfect spot for her. A few minutes later, the doorbell rang, and in came Grandma Margaret, carrying a tray of cookies in one hand and her signature burst of energy in the other. Without missing a beat, she began decorating. Jessica should be the first thing anyone sees when they walk in, she said firmly, placing a large framed wedding photo of Michael and his late wife on the mantel. As they hung curtains and unpacked dishes, Margaret filled the quiet spaces with stories. Funny moments from Jessica's childhood, their wedding day chaos, the way she'd hum to herself while cooking. Liam listened intently, soaking up every detail about the mother he never really got to know. She always found joy, even when she was sick, Michael whispered, staring at the photo and remembering the promise he'd made beside Jessica's hospital bed, to keep her memory alive, no matter what. The next morning, as they rushed out the door for school, Liam slipped Jessica's photo into the front pocket of his backpack. I want Mommy to come with me, he said, holding the zipper tight like it was a secret between them. At school, Miss Wilson knelt to Liam's eye level with a warm smile. I've heard you're a great helper. Want to see the art corner? As Liam ran off, Michael lingered by the door. He watched his son instinctively pat the photo through the fabric of his backpack. Liam was growing up, strong, curious, but still holding on to someone he never got to truly meet. Michael looked up at the sky and quietly vowed no more goodbyes. That afternoon, as Michael pulled up to Liam's school for pickup, the scene looked like any other. Kids laughing, parents chatting, backpacks swinging. But something about the air felt strange, heavy, as if it were holding its breath. Michael scanned the playground, eyes naturally locking onto Liam's bright blue jacket. He smiled until he saw the girl standing next to him. She was about Liam's height, with the same tousled brown hair and hazel eyes that danced with curiosity. Her nose crinkled the same way when she laughed. For a moment, Michael thought he was seeing double. He stepped closer, heartbeat rising. Liam ran up, his face lit with excitement. Dad, this is Emily. She's my new best friend. She has the same birthday as me, October 12th. Isn't that cool? Before Michael could respond, a woman approached, tall, graceful, and carrying a calm presence. Then he froze. His breath caught in his throat. The woman was the spitting image of Jessica, his late wife. Same eyes, same gentle smile, same habit of tucking her hair behind her ear. Time slowed as memories flooded in like a crashing wave. The woman looked at him with confusion, sensing his reaction. Liam tugged her sleeve. Emily's mom, this is my dad. He thinks you look like my mommy. Emily, clutching a drawing in one hand, added innocently, you look like the lady in Liam's photo. He showed me. Michael reached into his pocket and, with trembling fingers, pulled out the photo Liam had placed by his bed, the one of Jessica at the beach. He handed it to the woman and watched as her expression shifted from polite curiosity to stunned recognition. Her hands shook as she traced the edges of the picture, her eyes darting between the photo and Liam's face. I'm Rachel, she said softly, barely above a whisper. Rachel Harper. Michael Johnson, he replied, his voice unsteady. Just then, Miss Wilson appeared beside them, her tone serious. Mr. Johnson, Rachel, I think we need to talk. Inside the office, Miss Wilson laid it all out. Emily and Liam weren't just lookalikes. They shared the same birthday. They finished each other's sentences. They acted like they had known each other forever. Michael stared blankly. This can't be coincidence. Rachel's voice cracked. I was adopted. I never knew my biological family. And just like that, Michael knew something far bigger than coincidence had brought them together. The ride to Rachel's house that evening was silent, except for the sound of tires rolling over gravel and the occasional breath. Michael struggled to steady. Liam had fallen asleep in the back seat, clutching his backpack, while Emily quietly hummed a tune, unaware of the storm swirling inside the adults. Rachel's knuckles were white as she gripped the steering wheel, her mind spinning faster than she could control. I need to ask my mom, she finally said, voice low. She never told me anything about a sibling, but I always had this weird feeling growing up, like something was missing. When they pulled into the driveway, an older woman opened the door before they even knocked. Margaret Harper, now in her early 60s, stood there with a quiet unease, holding a teacup that clinked slightly from her trembling fingers. Inside, the atmosphere thickened. Michael placed the photo of Jessica on the table, sliding it across to Margaret without saying a word. The woman's eyes widened and her hand went to her chest. That's Jessica, she whispered. Rachel's voice shook. You knew her? Margaret slowly sat down, her eyes glassy. I didn't just know her, she said. She's your sister. The room fell into stunned silence. Rachel stared, frozen. Michael felt the air rush from his lungs. I was young and scared, Margaret continued, her voice cracking with emotion. Your biological father was married, wealthy, powerful. He demanded I choose. I could only keep one child. I chose you, Rachel, because you were stronger when you were born. Michael blinked, stunned. You gave Jessica away. I had no choice, Margaret said, eyes filling with tears. I thought about her every day. I tried to find her. Years later, after your father passed. But the agency had closed. The records were sealed. I hit dead ends everywhere. She reached under the table and pulled out a weathered box. Inside were hospital bracelets, newborn photos, even a second baby blanket with the name Jessica embroidered on the edge. Rachel broke down, tears streaming down her cheeks. All this time, I never knew. Michael reached across the table, placing a hand on hers. You weren't alone in losing her. Liam stirred from the couch and looked up, sleep still in his eyes. Is that my mommy's blanket? And just like that, the past came rushing into the present, with a truth that couldn't be buried any longer. Over the next few days, everything changed. Michael and Rachel met nearly every evening, each time uncovering more fragments of a life that once belonged to Jessica. A life Rachel had never known, but somehow always felt connected to. They sat on the living room floor, surrounded by old photos, hospital records, and keepsakes pulled from Margaret's attic. Every new piece only confirmed the truth. Rachel and Jessica had been twins, separated at birth, raised in different worlds, but bound by something stronger than blood: fate. Meanwhile, Liam and Emily were inseparable. At school, they moved in perfect sync, finishing each other's thoughts, choosing the same paint colors in art class, laughing at jokes no one else understood. Teachers began calling them the twins, and even Miss Wilson admitted she'd never seen a connection like it. It was like they had known each other forever. Rachel watched them one afternoon, her heart heavy and full all at once. They're so close, she said softly. It's like they're giving us a second chance. Michael nodded. Maybe they are. One evening, Rachel invited Michael and Liam over for dinner. The house was warm, filled with the smell of roasted chicken and fresh cornbread. Margaret had softened, her walls slowly crumbling under the weight of long-held guilt. She joined them at the table, listening more than speaking, occasionally reaching out to brush a lock of Emily's hair behind her ear, just like she used to do with Rachel as a child. After dinner, the kids ran into the backyard, laughing, chasing fireflies with glowing mason jars in hand. Michael and Rachel stayed behind, sipping coffee by the window. You know what's strange? Rachel said. Sometimes when Emily says something, it sounds like Jessica. Her phrasing, her timing. I don't even know how to explain it. Michael looked down at his mug, then back at her. Maybe she's still with us, in pieces, through them. They stood there in silence for a while, just watching the kids dance through the yard, their laughter rising into the night like music. And in that quiet moment, with stars blinking gently overhead, Michael realized something. This wasn't just a reunion. It was the beginning of something new. something unexpected, beautiful, and completely their own. A family, rebuilt from loss and born again through love. A few weeks later, on a crisp October afternoon, Michael set up a barbecue grill in the backyard while Liam and Emily played under a maple tree whose leaves had begun to blush with autumn. The yard was filled with laughter, the kind that wrapped itself around your chest and made you forget that pain ever existed. Rachel came out carrying a tray of lemonade, her smile soft, her eyes brighter than he had ever seen them. Margaret sat nearby, watching the kids with quiet awe. She hadn't missed a visit since the day she confessed the truth. Slowly, through time and tiny gestures, she was earning her place again, showing up for the daughter she raised and then the granddaughter she never knew she had. They're working on a project for school, Rachel said, setting the tray down. A family tree. Emily insisted it include Jessica. Michael looked over at the kids. Liam was holding a poster board while Emily used glitter pens to decorate the branches. In the center, they had drawn two photos, Jessica and Rachel, side by side, linked by a gold line that shimmered in the sun. They want to remember how this all started, Rachel added. They want to remember her. Michael swallowed hard, nodding. We should do this every year, same day. Celebrate the people who made this family possible. Rachel glanced at him, her expression tender, touched by something deeper than words. I think Jessica would have liked that. That night, after the guests had left and the kids had fallen asleep on the couch tangled in blankets, Michael and Rachel stepped outside. The sky was wide and dark, the stars sharp and clear. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. They didn't need to. Then Rachel whispered, Do you think she knows? That Liam is happy? That we're okay? Michael looked up at the stars, his eyes scanning the heavens as if waiting for a sign. I think she knew all along, he said. And just then, a shooting star cut across the sky, fast, bright, gone in a blink, but long enough for two hearts to feel something bigger than coincidence. Sometimes families aren't made in hospitals or by name alone. Sometimes they're made by miracles. If this story touched your heart, we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a coincidence so powerful it felt like fate? Or maybe you've been reunited with someone from your past in a way you never expected. Stories like this remind us that life can be full of unexpected turns, second chances, and quiet miracles that bring people together. Tell us in the comments, what part of this story moved you the most? Was it the bond between Liam and Emily, the discovery of long-lost family, or that final moment under the stars? We read every single comment, and your thoughts truly matter to us. Also, let us know where you're watching from. We're always amazed by the global community that comes together for these heartfelt tales. And if you've ever had to rebuild your own version of family, whether through love, loss, or a twist of fate, this is a space where your voice is welcome. So drop a comment below, share your story, or simply let us know how this one made you feel. We can't wait to read your thoughts.